Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit lower, and it's not because I'm trying to intentionally do ASMR. It's because I'm recording this at 2 o'clock in the morning and I don't want my baby to hear. I'm going to share with you the top tips that I have to draw daily. And do I think that drawing daily is a good thing? I actually do, and I'll go further into that later on. But the first thing that I want to talk about, the first tip, is a clean, minimal, and effective workspace. So what do I mean by this? I mean finding a place where you have everything set up right how you need it, right where you want it, and easy access so that you can go right ahead and start painting. Now, the best way to do this is to minimize the items that are in your desk and purposely have the items that you need for that day. A lot of this is prep work, sometimes the night before or sometimes early in the morning. I would suggest that you eliminate prep work when you're going straight in for a drawing. Make it as easy as you possibly can so that you can go ahead and get right to it and get those energy flowing and do what you gotta do in order to create. So for me, what that looks like is I have a canvas or I have a watercolor notebook or sketch pad, whatever you want to call it. And then I have about 3 paintbrushes. I don't like to have too many paintbrushes because I don't like to shift through and try to find the ones that I use regularly. So I have one that's a little bit thin. It's thin to medium, really. It's more on the thin side. I have one that's also ultra thin, and then I have like a water brush. And what I mean by water brush is one of those brushes that retains a lot of water, and I use that for the glazes and for the underpainting. I also have a collapsible cup, and that cup is really good because it's a space saver. One, it's a silicone cup, and once you use the water, you can just throw it away. Collapse a cup saves space in your desk area. You could put it away or you could store it, and it's also travel friendly. And it's great because my cats like to drink the water, so I take it away immediately after I'm done painting. If I'm doing a daily sketch, it usually means I'm doing something that's not too official, or maybe something that's more like just to advance my skills and advance my style and the process. Just trying to feel out my art process in general. So a lot of times I use basically that and, paint itself to create the sketch and to do the full-on painting and rendering. And sometimes I go over that with colored pencils. So you might want to have those there as well. If not, if you like to sketch, and this is strictly speaking about painting per se, but if you like to sketch first, you can use a red pencil or red lead pencil with an eraser. Makes it very easy and efficient, and you can just go straight ahead into it. The point is to take the path of least resistance, right? So yeah. Now, speaking about workspace, I want to talk about just generally. You want to find a place that's well lit, especially, preferably if it's like daylight or it's natural light. But if you don't have natural light, there's also a really good lamp that I found fairly cheap on Amazon as well. And these aren't affiliated links, by the way, not at this moment. Maybe in the future it will be, but yeah, at this point in time, it's not an affiliated link. You can, just purchase at your convenience, and yeah, it's just, just for your convenience there. Tip number 2 is the subject that you're going to draw. I recommend, if you're doing daily drawings, to do subjects that are easy and clean and don't require a lot of complex detailing or rendering. So still life is actually a great option for this. If you like portraits or you're a portrait artist, you can, get portraits on Pinterest. Although I will say this, it's best to go to like Unsplash or someplace like that where you have commercial free images that you can use for portraits or for landscapes, things of that nature. Pinterest is a little bit of a rabbit hole that when you're trying to draw daily, you want to minimize the time that you take away in procrastinating, and that can definitely be one of those things that lets you procrastinate. So I would suggest you go into something that's less art-based and more tailored to just commercial free images, like unsplash.com. But back to what I was saying, still life is actually a great way to just work on daily sketches. And one of the ways that you can do that is just find objects in your own home, put them together, and create your own little bouquet or scenery or things like that. And like I said, if you're doing daily images and you want to finish that image or that piece that day, to something that's not too complex and doesn't require as much rendering. If you want to do a piece that's larger, divide it into different days so that you don't feel overwhelmed or stressed. Tip number 3 is finding the time to do this art that you're doing daily. So I would recommend, let's say you have children or other obligations, either you can start early in the morning, have your cup of coffee before everybody wakes up, and you can do about 15-20 minutes of art if that's all you can do, and that is totally fine. You can also do it at night when everybody has gone to bed, or you can do it anytime that's available to you, that you usually find yourself scrolling social media or watching YouTube videos. Just play it in the background and just pull out your supplies and start drawing then and there. It's actually pretty easy to find time during the day to draw or to do art. You have that time, especially if you find yourself scrolling relentlessly or on apps, on Facebook, on Instagram, anything like that. You will find that time. You just have to eliminate things that aren't as either productive, or let's not say productive because it's not hustle culture mentality, but I guess I would say fulfilling. You have to replace things that are maybe something that you do out of whim or just kind of like without intention, to do something that's a little bit more fulfilling. Okay, so tip number 4 is to travel with it. So a good travel kit with as only have the most essential things when you're in a travel kit, because again, you're going to drive yourself nuts if you do too much and you bring so many supplies with you and it takes up too much room in your purse and your bag, etc. So I'm going to show you a little bit of my travel kits depending on the type of work that I like to do. Usually I find that when you're doing daily art and you're traveling with it, the easiest arts that you can do is watercolor. One, because it has palette. You can find palettes that are pretty small and compact, and they have all the colors and everything that you need. The collapsible cup is great for this situation. Also graphite art, charcoal art, as well as, let's see, I'm trying to think. Colored pencils, crayons, neo colors. All of these are great for traveling and they don't take up a lot of space, and you can go right ahead and do the art that you're doing without, like having to set up too much. Setup is like the enemy of doing art daily. So yeah, and by the way, you could, if you're doing watercolor or if you're doing something that requires water, you can also have your little water spray bottle, and you can use that actually to just add water to your cup if you don't have an area where you can access water as well. Or you could bring like a water bottle as well too. So tip number 6 is pretty simple. Don't expect too much. When we're doing this, we're just trying to get better at our crafts, and we're trying to kind of minimize that fear and that pressure that we have towards it. If you stop working at something and you go back to it a couple days later, you have to build that momentum. And because you're doing this daily, that momentum is actually there. And the pressure to create kind of diminishes because there's less expectation as you become more familiar to what you're doing. And the more repetitive things become, the more comfortable you become with it. So I would say that's one of the great things about doing a daily art piece or daily sketch, or just drawing, practicing your skills daily. Now here's some tidbits that I want to add. If you don't do it daily, or if you miss a day or a couple days, or hey, it's been a week and you still haven't, gotten back to your art, that's totally fine. It honestly all depends on how strong or what is your intention in doing it. For me, my intention is to become a freelancer, for this to become a job for me. So I look at it as a job already, and I try to do it every day because that's what I would be doing if I did it as a job anyways. But if you're doing it as a hobby, then by no means do you have to do this daily. If you're doing this as a hobby, really, you want to do it whenever you feel like it, because that's what a hobby is. There is no further intention to it, but just to enjoy it, and enjoy it whenever you want to, whenever you can. If you're doing this with a different purpose and something for monetary gain, or you're doing it as a goal, or just trying to like perfect your skills, and you do want to do daily drawings but you happen to miss a couple days, that's totally fine. Just get back to it. It's totally fine. With me personally, I find myself being a very obsessive person. I obsess with whatever it is that I find very important, and I constantly think about it. So a lot of times I'm sitting here, I'm watching YouTube, or I'm watching something that's not even related to it, and my mind drifts back to the art. But that's just because I am very passionate about what I do, and I found something that I actually enjoy doing, which is funny because in school, or more is better said, in high school and after I got out of high school, I was very lost. And for a lot of years I was actually pretty lost because I just didn't know what I wanted to do. There was no career path that I actually wanted to study. There was nothing I saw worth studying in college. So I ended up going to beauty school. And in a way, I look back and I think, well, it was a creative outlet, and I like to be creative and I enjoy it very much, even though at times it can be very labor intensive. But when I finally found something that I was passionate about, and I said, hey, I could do this, and if I can make money out of this, or if I can make this a job and allow myself to be financially sustained with this, I that would be the ultimate thing for me. So I decided to, fulfill this and go headstrong. And that is why I'm so passionate about building my skills daily and doing this as a daily thing. But anyways, guys, this is the little picture that I did of a strawberry mom and baby. I plan to actually use this piece as a digital art file for an Etsy listing. So if you're interested in that, you can click on the link below to my Etsy shop. But either way, have a wonderful day, keep painting, and bye!